A Dramione Halloween by Mermaid886. Summary. After taking Scorpius out for a round of trick-or-treating, Draco Malfoy anxiously returns to his pregnant wife's bedside.
"Do you think Mummy will like this one, Daddy?"
A small blonde-haired boy asked as he held up a chocolate frog for his father's inspection. Draco Malfoy squinted down at his son's chubby little fingers before he nodded and replied, "I think she will, Scorpius. But remember, Mummy may not want to eat it tonight."
"Because her tummy doesn't feel good?"
Scorpius asked as he blinked his wide grey eyes. "That's right." Draco nodded. He led his little boy by the hand as they walked through the rest of Diagon Alley and moved from shop to shop. On All Hallows Eve, Wizarding Britain's most popular retail street hosted a massive trick-or-treat event which attracted swarms of parents and their children. Although the tradition had been largely adopted from Muggles, Draco had let his son participate in the fun at his wife's urging. As he watched Scorpius toddle around in his vampire costume, chat with other children, knock on every door, and collect candy with an odd smile, Draco was glad he had honored his spouse's request. Once the Malfoys had visited every shop, Draco clutched Scorpius' hand as he prepared to take them both home. "What's the matter?" Draco asked as he blinked at Scorpius' melancholy pout while he ushered them to the nearest flue chimney.
"What if I spill my candy, Daddy?"
Scorpius frowned worriedly as he clutched his paper sack. "If you let me hold it in our way home, I promise I won't drop a single piece," Draco offered.
"And you won't eat it all?"
Scorpius blinked. "No, son, I won't eat any of it. You have my word." Draco nodded. Once they entered the closest shop and approached the flue chimney, Scorpius kept his cute pout but reluctantly handed his paper sack over to Draco, who took it with an amused grin and clutched it firmly in his hand. He held Scorpius with his other as they travelled to Malfoy Manor in a burst of green flame. They had barely stepped out of the estate's massive hearth before Scorpius squealed in excitement and raced up the stairs. "Careful!" Draco called as he rushed after his little boy. "Careful, Scorp! She may be asleep." Scorpius didn't heed his father's warning as he dashed down the hallway and threw open the door to his parents' room. On the bed, covers rustled as Scorpius shouted,
"Mummy!"
Covers moved again as a mass of luscious brown curls slowly peeked over the top of the sheets. Smooth, tanned skin revealed itself as a face smiled down at Scorpius, highlighted by warm amber eyes. "Hello, sweetheart." Hermione greeted her little boy as she opened her arms to welcome him. Draco made it to the door just in time to watch Scorpius launch himself towards his mother. "Scorpius, careful, careful, what did I just say?" Draco snapped as he widened his grey eyes. Hermione kept a protective hand over her heavily pregnant belly as their little boy landed beside her on the bed. "He's all right, Draco. He's not going to hurt me." Hermione laughed as she flashed her husband a smile. Draco frowned as he walked over and sat down on the side of their bed, ready to grab their son if he became too rambunctious. "Did you have fun, sweetheart?" Hermione asked as she smiled at Scorpius.
"It was loads of fun, Mummy,"
he exclaimed. As he looked over at his father, Draco immediately handed him his paper sack full of candy. Both Mr. and Mrs. Malfoy glanced at each other with knowing smiles as Scorpius began to rummage through his collection after he plopped down on his little bottom.
"I got some of these, and these too,"
he exclaimed as he proudly showed his mother his most prized spoils. "That's lovely, sweetheart," Hermione chuckled. She glanced at Draco and blushed as she watched her husband's grey eyes linger on the outlines of her full breasts, barely hidden by her nightgown, before his gaze dropped to her rounded belly in silent admiration.
"I even got one of these,"
Scorpius announced as he held up his chocolate frog. Hermione began to speak. "Oh,
"You can have it, Mummy."
Scorpius nodded.
"I know you like these a lot."
"Well, thank you, darling." Hermione smiled at her little boy. "That's very kind of you, but I'll let you keep it for now, all right? Mummy doesn't feel like eating much at the moment."
"Is it because of your tummy, Mummy?"
Scorpius blinked. It is love, yes. Hermione nodded, not wanting to try and explain the woes of late pregnancy to a toddler.
Because of my sister?
Scorpius frowned. It's not because of her, Scope. It's just what happens before the baby is born. Draco cuts in. Scorpius turned to look at his father with wide eyes as Draco explained. Mummy didn't feel well when she carried you either, especially right before you were born.
She didn't?
Scorpius blinked as he turned to look at Hermione, intent on discovering if his father's statement was true or not. Not all the time, sweetheart. Hermione comforted her little boy as she stroked his platinum blonde hair. Don't worry, Mummy will be all right.
Is my sister going to be here soon?
Scorpius asked Hermione. Very soon. She sighed as she blew out a breath. Draco frowned nervously at his wife. It had made him anxious enough to leave the manor, but somehow, as he sat next to his maid, his nervousness increased. Scorpius blinked again before he yawned and moved to snuggle against his mother's side. Moments later, after Draco had readied himself and Scorpius for bed, the young Malfoy family lay together. Scorpius had fallen fast asleep, snuggled against the warmth of his mother's pregnant belly as she snoozed next to his unborn sister. Are you having any pain, love? Draco whispered as he cuddled Hermione. No, Draco, but I'm quite tired. Let's try to get some sleep, shall we? Hermione sighed. I really need my rest. As Hermione frowned up at him, Draco leaned down and pressed a gentle kiss to her lip. Their passion was sweet but subdued as she pulled away and settled into his shoulders before she fell into a deep sleep. He smiled softly to himself as he closed his eyes to rest too. Draco had accepted he would most likely live in loneliness after the war, but once Hermione Granger had opened her heart to him, he had known happiness that he had never before imagined. The end. Thank you all so much for listening to this wonderful story by Mermaid886. I really hope you enjoyed this story. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel so you're always up to date about what's coming next, and I can't wait to share tomorrow's story with you. I really hope to see you for that. Have a great day.